So this week, I was home a little bit early, preparing for my JLI class or a class, weekly Torah class. And I notice my 4-year-old son, David, one of the triplets, he's home and he is screaming at my wife. But he's ballistic with rage. He's like eating her up. It's like, I'm just watching. He's punching her. And I say, yeah, it's cute, 4-year-old. I don't think it was cute for my wife, but he's punching her and he's screaming at her and he's pulling her. And I'm like, Chevy, what does he want? And she said, well, I went private time with Lucia. It was her turn. It wasn't his turn. And he's demanding private time with me now. And I just went with him the other day, and it's not his turn. He has to wait his turn. But he's demanding private time. And I'm just watching this guy going ballistic with rage, fuming. I'm thinking to myself, the Baal Shem Tov taught us that there's a lesson to learn from everything. And I'm thinking, wow, this little 4-year-old child is teaching me now an incredible lesson. And that is, in the Parshat Yitro, Rashi says, Retzoneinu lirot et malkeinu. We all have to learn from David. So ballistic with rage that we want to spend private time our Father in heaven, God. How is it that we don't go crazy with rage at God for not giving us private time? How is it that we don't demand and beat up, so to speak, like he was really beating up my wife, that we want to have private time with our Father in heaven because he's willing, he's able, and he wants to. In this week's Parsha, we actually read just after the giving of the Torah, which was the greatest private time, so to speak, the greatest spiritual revelation to take place in the history of the universe. So the next morning, Moses goes up to the mountain and he spends 40 days there, and the Jews miscalculated the day. And on the last day, they thought Moses had died. In fact, the Yetzer Hara, the Satan, showed them a coffin of Moses, so they thought Moses had died. And so they made a replacement for Moses, so to speak, and they built a golden calf, and they started worshiping the golden calf. Moses comes down from the mountain the next morning and he sees the Jews worshiping the golden calf. God was livid with rage. Moses took the tablets and he broke them into smithereens, shattered them into pieces. And God was so angry. He was fuming at the Jews. He said, let me kill them all. Let me wipe out all the Jews and rebuild the nation from you, Moses. You, Moses, will be the new founding father of the Jewish nation. And Moses' love, his greatest passion in life was the Torah. And he said to God, if you cannot forgive the Jews, erase me from your Torah. Moses stood and he said, I and my people are one. I love the Jews more than anything else. They are my children. They are my flock. I will not give up on them. And at the last verse of the whole entire Torah, where the Torah tells us, what was Moses' greatest moment? More than splitting of the sea, more than smiting Pharaoh with the 10 plagues, more than giving of the Torah, was the moment he shattered the tablets into smithereens. Because that was the moment he demonstrated that his greatest love was the Jew. That was the moment that he made peace, so to speak, between God and the Jews. That was the moment that he enabled private time between God and the Jews. That is the moment when he repaired the relationship, where he showed and he demonstrated to the Jews that the most precious item they have is God, and what they should strive for is private time with Hashem, with God. That was his greatest moment. And which Jew, by the way? Not the Jew who sits and learns Torah all day long. The Jew who's the sinner. Think for yourself, who's the greatest sinner in the Jews today? That was the Jew that Moses stood for and put his life on the line for. Think about that. I don't want to mention any names of Jews yet. But think to yourself, who's your worst enemy? The worst Jew. That was the Jew Moses stood on the line for. What an important lesson. We all need to learn from Moses, from David, to demand private time with our Father in heaven. And he is there waiting, able and willing. He will give it to us. May Hashem grant that the ultimate private time will happen with the coming of Mashiach right now. Shabbat.